and smell like Irish spring, and he never taught me anything. But still I slap my chest and sing of my drunken Irish dad. Oh, his face looks like a railroad map, and he never shuts his friggin' trap.
Yeah, well, I'm not a drunken Irish dad anymore, but I don't ever shut my frickin' trap. That's for sure. Welcome to the show. It is We Live on a Planet. I'm your host, Patrick. Monday, March 16th, 2020. This is episode 370. We're knocking on 400 episodes here. Holy cow. Little chilly start to the Monday morning. No snow, thank goodness. All the snow is melted. Currently 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Feels like 18 degrees. Highs are going to be about 46 degrees Fahrenheit today. Winds are out of the east at 3 miles per hour. So yeah, we got a good show for you too. Whoa. What's that for? Oh. We have an alert. Oh, that's... Wow, come on. You remembered? Thank you. My producer. Yeah. 50. I'm 50. I made it. Century year old. Today is my birthday. 50 years old. I remember thinking 50 when I was 21, that 50 was a walker and gray hair. So I don't have a walker. I used a walker last year. Well, a wheelchair. And I do have some gray. But the wheelchair was different reasons. We'll talk about that and everything like that later on in the show. Stick around. We'll be right back. I want to start off the show with a quote. The indispensable first step to getting the things you want out of life is this. Decide what you want. Ben Stein. Yeah, good one. What's that? Oh, just kind of like cemented in there. I get it. The indispensable first step to getting the things you want out of life is this. Decide what you want. Ben Stein. Yeah,
You make your own happiness.
Ben Stein, you know who Ben Stein is. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller, economist as well. I believe he was in the Nixon administration. Something for Nixon. Could be wrong. I have a big day today ahead of me. I plan on going to Target. We don't have a Target in the city of Oswego, but there's one town over from me, a city over. And Carpe, if you follow the show, you've been hearing me talk a lot about Carpe. They contacted me the other day and asked me if I would shoot an Instagram video for them. And so I plan on going to Carpe today and trying to get an Instagram video out for them. And that will be fun. And I said earlier about a walker and a wheelchair, and I have used a walker before in my life too. Right after my back surgery, 2012, I had not reconstructive, but massive back surgery where they reconstructed my back and I've got 2 rods and 6 screws in my lower back. And I had to use a walker after that. But to the wheelchair part, it was 1 year ago on March 17th that my car crash happened and I was trapped in the car for an hour. They had to cut me out of it. My father was with me, and we both fared okay out of it. I mean, we made it, considering it was a near head-on crash. But it really rattled both of us. And, man, I think about how far I've come from that accident of being in a wheelchair, being in a hospital bed at my house downstairs, and having to just take washcloth baths and everything because I couldn't get upstairs to take a shower. And you realize all those little things that you take for granted, such as like having toilet paper, because everybody's lost their mind. Though we've never seen anything like this pandemic, this global pandemic that's going on in the world right now. I've never seen it in my 50 years. I think there's so many things that's going on with this, of what's causing people to panic buy. I think part of me is like, breaks it down to, it's pretty simple. Instead of overthinking it, we're just animals. We are animals, and we're hunter-gatherers by nature. And I think that a human can sense something's not right and something isn't normal. And so some humans react different than others, just as some animals react different. And we have that herd mentality going on right now. Like if you're in the someplace in the savannah and you're a gazelle, and all of a sudden one gazelle starts running, you're going to start running too because there's a lion. And I don't know. I think it's just kind of people are afraid. In that movie, Men in Black, I remember there was like that time Tommy, what the heck's his name? Can't even think of the actor's name right now. But he's talking to Will Smith and saying that a person is smart, but people are scared, shaky, reactive creatures, and I'm paraphrasing from what he said in that movie. Tommy Lee Jones. Thank you for that. Yeah, so, but yeah, it will be, I don't know. What?
Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling.
Let's go bowling? Yeah, me and my wife are going to start bowling. Bowling's fun. Right down the street from us is a bowling alley. We could walk there in the summertime if we wanted. And they have specials on Tuesdays. I've talked about it here on the show. And you can bowl two bowling games and get 2 pairs of shoes for $4.20. $4.20. Can you believe that? That's a good price. I mean, you can't beat that price. And so what we decided to do though is invest and get our own stuff and get our own bowling stuff. And I went on Amazon, and we're going to be able to get started for under $300 with all new everything, because you could go on, you could probably go on Let Go or one of those places and look for used bowling equipment, but I don't think I want somebody's old bowling shoes. And the bowling ball, I want one that's going to be cut right from my fingers. I've never used a bowling ball that's specially made for me. How neat. And I have a friend of mine from high school, and he is a fantastic bowler. I think he's up to 13, possibly 13 300 game. That's like amazing. That's like really, yeah, that's hard. That's a perfect frame every all 12. And since I didn't know anything about bowling in that sense, I saw him at the bowling alley. We went to bowl one day, and there was a tournament going on, and he was bowling in this tournament. And I was like, Joe, what does a ball cost? How heavy of a ball should I get? All those questions that you don't know when you're really just used to using the bowling balls that are at the bowling alley. So this will be fun to kind of invest in a hobby together, or a sport, however you want to look at it. When I was in rehab over 4 years ago, one of the old timers that had quite a few years of sobriety, he told me, he goes, Patrick, get yourself into a lot of hobbies and get yourself a lot of fun things to do and invest in them, and get fishing equipment and hunting equipment, and buy a dartboard and get some drones, get some remote control cars, whatever you are into at the moment, get it, and then tuck it away someplace in your garage, or pull it out a couple months later, and you're going to have all these things that you didn't have when you were drinking because you were spending it all on alcohol. And he's right. I'm starting to accumulate things that I would just blast away on alcohol. And so that's nice. And I think this would be kind of fun to do that. So let's learn stuff today like we usually do. I want to know some things. I'm sure maybe you do. That's one of the reasons why you come over to the show. It's fun to learn. We'll head on over to the History Channel's website. See what we can learn. Stick around. We'll be right back. It's times like this I'm glad I have my producer, because my producer informed me it's 10 frames of bowling, not 12. That shows how misinformed I am of bowling. So if you're listening to the show and you're screaming at me right now going, yo, man, it's 10 frames, not 12. Yeah, okay. So we'll get there. We'll get there. On today's date, March 16th, besides me turning 50, the U.S. Military Academy is established. West Point, we've heard of that. West Point is, and this is in 1802. There's some famous West Point grads. I learned a lot about that doing a lot of this stuff at Fort Ontario, but Grant and Sherman were classmates, and Lee and Jackson. So you've got Confederates and Union soldiers learning together side by side, and then shortly thereafter fighting one another. Custer's buried there as well. Everybody remembers Custer. About 900 grads a year graduate from West Point. It was in 1870 the first African-American cadet was admitted to the U.S. Military Academy, and it wasn't until 1976 the first female cadets. But yeah, interesting stuff. West Point, right in New York. We have 2008 Bear Stearns collapses and sold to J.P. Morgan Chase. They narrowly avoided bankruptcy and sell it. Who cares about these big businesses like that anyways? I'm sure everybody profited out of it anyways. 1985, I remember this. I was really young, but I do remember American journalist Terry Anderson is kidnapped in Beirut, Lebanon. 1926, the first liquid-fueled rocket is launched on this date. It traveled up to 2.5 seconds at a speed of about 60 miles per hour, reaching an altitude of, let's open this up because I'm curious, 1926. Come on, open up. Okay, the rocket traveled for 2.5 seconds at a speed of about 60 miles per hour, reaching an altitude of 41 feet and landing 184 feet away. The rocket was 10 feet tall, constructed out of thin pipes, and was fueled by liquid oxygen and gasoline. Oh, we're talking a bomb. That was a bomb, buddy. What else we have? Oh, not much on this day's date, besides me being born. 1850, the Scarlet Letter is published. I remember in high school doing a book report about Nathaniel Hawthorne's Scarlet Letter. 2005, actor Robert Blake is acquitted of wife's murder. I just saw something on my wife watches that investigative discovery stuff, those murder shows and everything like that, and it was on, and I call it her smut because she loves it. And that was on the other night, and it was about Robert Blake, and it was in 2005, and it was his wife Bonnie Lee Blakely. Excuse me. He was acquitted. After Robert Blake was the actor known for was it Beretta? I think Beretta. 1988, President Ronald Reagan orders troops into Honduras. All of these too, which we know. I've told you before, time. If any of them are something you're interested, head on over to the History channels and open them up and learn a little bit more. Here's one, 1751. I didn't know this. This is cool. The father of the Constitution is born. That's James Madison. March 16th, 1751, James Madison, the drafter of the Constitution, is born. That's pretty neat. Pretty neat. I like to learn things, and I'm glad that you came over and learned that with me. I'd like to now, what we'll do is I think we'll head on over to the fact site. Do that when we come back. Stick around. I got to fuel up on some more coffee. I'll be right back. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. Yeah, free. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Listen to this, too. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Check out anchor.fm today. You can find me at anchor.fm/WLOAP. Hope to hear from you. So speaking of bowling, it was a year ago on my birthday that my family surprised me by going bowling, and we hadn't done that in forever. And I think that's what got the bowling thing going. And the very next day, I got hit head on by a guy that just wasn't paying attention. It was March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. He wasn't drinking. He just wasn't paying attention. And it was terrible. I was almost at my dad's house, a rock throw from where I grew up, heading northbound. This traffic was heading southbound. I was on County Route 4, right where County Route 6 and 4 intermeet almost, in a town of Volney, it's called. And there was a car heading south that was turning into their driveway and stopped. And I was just going about 50, 55 miles per hour. And there was a car behind that stopped, and then a truck coming. And that truck that was coming wasn't paying attention. And when he looked up, instead of putting his car and swerving to the right and going into the ditch, he swerved to the left and came onto oncoming traffic. Come to find out, not the car that was turning into the house, but the car right behind that was stopped, was his girlfriend. And they were in a fight, supposedly, is what I've heard. Being in a small little town, you hear a lot of the dirt of what, from the first responders and other people, and my family members know other people, so they ended up getting the skinny, finding out. So it explains why he didn't want to, obviously, he didn't want to put his new truck in the ditch or whatever it was, new to him maybe, and he didn't want to rear end his girlfriend, and he wasn't paying attention because he was mad. Supposedly they were texting one another is what I heard, and he just boom. And I never lost consciousness, but I've never been in that much pain in my entire life. It happened so quickly. A bomb blows up when those airbags go off, and plus being hit at such a speed, being trapped in there. I had never broken a bone before in my 49 years until that day, and boy, I broke everything that day. I broke my leg and ribs and hand and collapsed a lung, sternum, collarbone. Yeah, so that's why I was in a wheelchair, because I couldn't use crutches because my collarbone was broke so bad. And they never did surgery on me. They didn't fix my collarbone, so now it's all lumped up. They said because I wasn't a 21-year-old guy, they wouldn't fix it, I guess. But geez, it's just amazing how far a year can bring you. And 2019 was a real shitty year. It really was. And this is a new year for me. This first 3 months has been crappy for everybody, but I'm seeing some light because I've decided what I want. And it's like what Ben Stein said beginning of the show, or the quote I shared. First step is decide what you want. And I know what I want. I know I want to pursue this voice that I was given, talent, and use this voice talent to do something with it and pursue that. And so that's why you're along for the ride too. This is fun because it's a good way for me to cut my chops and practice. There's so many reasons why I do this podcast. I like the idea too that if I have grandchildren someday, that my great-grandchildren can listen to this. And I've said that more times than not. It gives us thoughts and ideas. That's the reason why I put out the weather and everything like that too, because in 75 years, somebody listened to this, family member, they'll be able to really get a sense of what was going on in this little neck of the woods, and this, the area I'm kicking stones in right now here in Oswego. All right, let's head on over to the fact site, and maybe we'll learn there's 100 surprising technology facts that you didn't know. Obviously, we're not going to do all 100. I'm just going to kind of skim. The Firefox logo isn't a fox. You know that little thing that looks just like a fox, and it's called a Firefox? There's common misbelief that because the browser is named Firefox, the logo must be a fox. Surprisingly, that cute little furry creature in the logo is actually a red panda. The Syracuse Zoo has a couple red pandas. Those are cool. I'm not a zoo fan, though. I understand the logic. I mean, zoos can really be, if they're done right, can really benefit animals that are endangered. But for the most part, it's depressing to me to see animals in jail. That's how I feel about it. The first Apple logo isn't what you would think. Ooh, they show a picture of it, and it's kind of dark looking. Originally, it featured Sir Isaac Newton sitting beneath a tree with an apple about to fall on his head. It was designed way back in 1976 and featured a phrase around the border which read, "Newton, a mind forever voyaging through strange seas of thought, alone." Seems kind of dark. Google rents out goats. Yeah, they rent out goats. Instead of mowing their lawn, Google rents out goats to eat the grass at their Mountain View headquarters. A herder will bring about 200 goats in, which are herded by a border collie named Jen. Border collies are amazing dogs. They're so smart. The name robot has dark origins. If you look into the etymology of robot, it comes from the Czech word robota, which translates to forced labor of work. The word was first used to refer to a fictional humanoid in a play in 1920. Remember Styx, that band? And then they did that song, Domo Arigato, Misto Roboto, Domo. Domo. Now that song's stuck in my head. Domo Arigato. It's thank you very much, Mr. Roboto. That's what Domo Arigato means, thank you very much. All right. The first ever VCR was the size of a piano. Wow, there's a picture of the fact site of it, and the thing is the size of a piano. I remember my older cousin had a Beta player. When VHS and Betas first came out, Beta was the way to go, and he had a Beta player, and it was pretty neat. Samsung is 38 years and 1 month older than Apple. Wow, I did not know that. They're a lot older then. Domain name registration used to be free. Wow. Way back when people didn't realize how huge the internet would be, registering a domain name was free up until 1995. Wow. When a fee was introduced, it was high. Prices were typically $100 for 2 years of registration. That's a lot of money back in 95. Right now, I use Universe to build my app and have my own website domain, and it's $119 for a year, which I don't think's bad to have my own WLOAP.com. Hint, hint. Come on over there and subscribe. I'm still having my giveaway. The radio took 38 years to reach an audience of 50 million. Wow. You would think the invention of the radio would be a big deal, but it took 38 years for the radio to reach an audience of 50 million. Meanwhile, the iPod only took 3 years to reach that same milestone. That's, if you put things in perspective, 38 years to reach 50 million, but only 3 years to reach 50 million for the iPod. That's amazing. All right, what else do we have? People read faster or slower depending what they read from. Not only do you blink less when you're on a computer, but reading from a screen also slows you down. On average, people read 10% slower from a screen than from paper. Wow. As for the blinking part, did you know that during everyday life, people normally blink at a rate of 20 times per minute? But put them in front of a computer and that number drops way down to 7 times per minute. Wow. Learn all kinds of stuff here at We Live on a Planet. I think that's it. Ooh, did you hear that? That's my heat. My new Shure MV51 microphone picks up everything in the studio. I love it. It sounds fantastic. And the heat just kicked on, being that it's only 21 degrees here currently in upstate New York. It's a little chilly, and we'll probably have that gentle hum now in the background of some heat. And it feels good because it was a little chilly in here. Stick around when we come back. We'll wrap up the show and talk just a little bit more stuff and things. I'll be right back.
Happy birthday, Patrick. Hey, you probably don't remember me. This is Kevin Bergen. Have a podcast called Uniquely Common that I have not recorded for a while. But I gotta say, you really inspire me with your consistency, and I have been listening and really enjoy your show. And I saw that you have a birthday coming up and wanted to say happy, happy, happy day. And so you inspire me. I think I'm going to start recording more on my own podcast just because your dedication inspires me.
We must communicate. It's so 80s. Thank you, Kevin. Of course, I remember you, Kevin. Thank you for still sticking around here. We Live on a Planet with these 370 episodes that we have in the can. And I say, yeah, get back on your podcasting horse and enjoy podcasting. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to just share your thoughts and ideas. I encourage everybody to head on over to Anchor. You know, it's in my ad. I talk about Anchor, and it's fun. I think that podcasting is going to blow up even more. It's only in its infancy. It's only about 14 years old, podcasting is. So we're still in black and white right now in the sense of TV scale. We just learned earlier how long it was for radio to catch on. And so it could be the same way with podcasts. It's pretty young, but yeah, get back up on your horse and do it. And thank you for the birthday wishes. You can get a hold of me just like Kevin did too. If you're using the Anchor app, it's pretty easy. If you're not, but you want to be a part of the show, you can head on over to my website. It's WLOAP.com. From there, you can leave me a voice message. You can leave me an email, be a part of the show. I'm encouraging too, if you listen to the show right here and you like it, but you have never subscribed to my website, what are you waiting for? I'm having a giveaway, and you could be entered to win. The box right now is already wrapped up and ready to go. I'm so excited to give it away. I really want to give it away. It's worth over $50 value. It's a bunch of things in there that I think you really enjoy. And all you have to do is subscribe. It's pretty easy. There's just a little subscribe button. You put it in your email, and you're not going to get blasted up. I think that's the reason why people hesitate from subscribing to a website. They think, first of all, I don't want to give you my email. You're going to sell it. You're going to this. I'm not going to sell anybody's email. And you're only going to get updates when a new episode drops, which maybe you want to know when a new episode, because sometimes maybe I'll throw a bonus episode in there, which I haven't done, but Kevin is inspiring me by saying that he likes my consistency. There was a time that We Live on a Planet was done 7 days a week, and then it was done 5 days a week, and then 3 days a week, and now we're on 2 days a week. Part of me is really thinking about firing the show back up and having it 3 days a week and going Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the show. And I've been really thinking about doing that. So please, I'm encouraging you to, if you have subscribed already at WLOAP.com, but your friends or family members haven't, tell them too, because the more subscribers, the sooner I'm going to give this gift away once I get to 50. And right now I'm at 20. So I'm giving you a little hint. We need 30 more before I can even give this away. The reason why I think my subscriptions are so low too is because it's something I just really started initiating, the option to subscribe to the website if you want. I've been pretty gun shy about everything if We Live on a Planet and holding it pretty tight to my chest for these past 3 years. And now I'm really ready for it to pop off even more. And so I appreciate you being here along for the ride. It's been fun. This has been a good one. Good ride. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I'm going to enjoy my birthday today with my family, I'm sure, some way. And go to Target and try to get my Carpe video in for them. Maybe try to find some toilet paper while I'm out. I'm only going to buy what I need. That's what I think people need to remember. Only get what you need. And remember to wash your hands. I mean, I can't believe that we need to have a global pandemic to remind people of common sense hygiene. And when you wash your hands, don't wash them slowly. 20 seconds, real vigorous. And then just universal precautions. Just assume everybody's infected right now until we know some more information about this, because this is something that I'm always one of those guys that says this will be taught in history, or we'll talk about this one day. This is something that will be talked about as well. Has it been really blown out of some kind of whatever? I think so, in a way, but I also think that it is something that is serious, because my parents are older in age, and right now I don't want them traveling, even though I'm not terrified of this for myself. The idea of somebody that might be susceptible makes me a little bit nervous, I guess. So that's another thing too. The schools are all closing down here where I live, and I'm fearful that what people are going to do is they're going to be like, all right, well, let's go do this and this and this and that with the kid. And then it's like, I think you're missing the whole point why everybody's closing things, because we're trying to have this social distancing, I guess. There's a good analogy that the Greek government, Greek doctor's using right now, which matchsticks, and it shows a bunch of burnt matches and then one match pulled down away from the other matches and the fire stops. So, all right, that's me let me get off this. Hold on. I got to get off my soapbox. Hey, do your best to stay curious today and not judgmental. The best you can. I know that's not always easy. And then decide what you want in life, and maybe will help you get the things you want. All right, my friends, thanks again for your time, your ear. I do appreciate it. And give me a call. I want to hear from you. I really do. And tell a friend about We Live on a Planet. I'd appreciate it. Peace.